Welcome to Inspiring Narratives, your favorite channel for uplifting stories, renewed hope, and cultivating a deep connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Discover with me how turning to Allah can lead you to amazing changes in your life. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are back with another uplifting story that will, by the grace of Allah, strengthen your faith and renew your hope, inshallah. Get yourself your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's get started with today's video. I am hoping you are all doing amazingly well and in the best health and faith. To everyone listening right now, whatever you're going through, whether it's financial stress, feeling lost, overwhelmed, or feeling uncertain about the future, I want you to know this: it's completely normal. We all face times like these. But here's what I want you to do. Choose a dhikr, any dhikr that speaks to your heart, and repeat it day and night. Say it with presence as much as possible. I understand this won't always be easy, but make the effort to be present whenever you can. Say it with hope. Say it while thinking deeply of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how He can transform your situation into something more beautiful than you ever imagined. Whatever you're longing for, know that it's easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything can change in a moment. And as for your breakthrough, it's likely closer than you think. Don't entertain the whispers of shaitan, the ones that say nothing is going to change, I'm wasting my time, this doesn't work for me, or any other negative, meaningless thought. They're all from shaitan, whose aim is to make you give up and lose hope. But you are wiser, you know better. Whenever a negative thought enters your mind, replace it with a positive, empowering one, like Allah is with me and He will guide me. Allah is as we think of Him, and I choose to think the best thoughts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I usually don't talk about taking action, but this is very important. I assume you already know. We must do all we can for Allah to bless us, because we never just sit around hoping and wishing without ever lifting a finger. As Muslims, we must always take action towards our desires. So if it's regarding finances, you must do everything in your power. Start that business, apply for that job, take the steps. Don't sit around and wait. We must do our part. That's when amazing blessings enter our lives. You will experience wonderful blessings if you follow these steps and remain consistent. And when Allah blesses you with immense blessings, don't forget to share your stories with us. The sister of this story says, I used to live a very simple but happy life with my husband. He worked as a driver, and alhamdulillah, we owned a car. We had 2 little daughters and were still in early years of our marriage, about 5 years in. Life felt smooth and stable. Then everything changed in an instant. My husband got into a terrible car accident. The car was completely wrecked, crushed beyond repair. We couldn't even sell it for parts. And after the accident, my husband's health took a serious hit. He couldn't work as a driver anymore. We had a little gold saved up and a modest amount of savings. After 6 months, when my husband was able to stand and walk again, we began thinking seriously about starting a small business, something manageable that wouldn't strain his health. After asking around and getting some advice, most people suggested opening a stationery shop. It seemed like a good option with a stable income, so we took a leap of faith. We rented a small shop and opened the bookstore. We literally put everything we had into it, our gold and all our savings. But then COVID hit. Schools closed, private tutoring stopped, and just like that, the stationery shop flopped. Some days we made as little as £10. I remember sitting there regretting selling my gold, regretting investing our savings into something that wasn't working. I kept thinking, maybe we should have just lived off that money instead. It got so bad that we sometimes didn't even have lunch. We'd eat a simple breakfast and that was it for the day. There were days my husband and I would fast, not as an act of worship, but because we had nothing to eat. We'd break our fast with the simplest food just to make sure our daughters had something. Then one day I was watching TV and heard a sheikh talk about the power of istighfar, seeking forgiveness from Allah. A woman called in and said she made constant istighfar, and in time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed her with a spacious home and a car. I sat there with my chin in my hand thinking, really? Could I have a big home? A car? Could Allah do that for me too? Something inside me said, why not? Let me give it a try. So on that day, I didn't set a specific number. I just dedicated 1 full hour to making istighfar in every form I could think of. Astaghfirullah al-azim, Rabbil arsh al-azim wa atubu ilayh. Astaghfirullah alladhi la ilaha illa huwa al-hayy al-qayyum wa atubu ilayh. Astaghfiruka Rabbi wa atubu ilayk. I poured my heart out for an hour. Nothing dramatic happened immediately. But later that very same day, and mind you, this was during strict COVID lockdowns, my mother showed up unexpectedly. She knocked on the door and handed me a generous sum of money. She said, my daughter, we can't bring you gifts or seasonal things because of everything that's going on, so take this and buy what you need. It was enough to carry us through the rest of the month. I was shocked. Could this really be the effect of istighfar? Maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe she had already planned to give me something. But I told myself I will try again tomorrow. The next day, I made istighfar again for an hour. I also added salawat upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I also repeated La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah and made heartfelt dua. That evening, my husband came home carrying bags of groceries. I asked, where did this come from? I thought we had no money. He smiled and said, today Allah opened the doors of rizq. I earned a lot, more than I ever expected. It has to be from the blessings of istighfar. By the third day, I was feeling so encouraged. I turned to my daughters and said, whoever wants daddy to bring home something sweet today, come sit with me and do istighfar. We sat together, all of us repeating it from our hearts. That night, my husband came home again with enough food to last us 2 months, plus some extra money to save. I asked, how? Aren't things slow these days? He replied, today was incredibly strange. A man walked into the shop and bought nearly everything, 3/4 of all our stock. I was stunned. There are no schools right now. What does he need it for? But I didn't ask questions. If Allah is sending us provision, I'll receive it with open hands. From that day on, I made a commitment, 1 hour of istighfar every single day. Some days I did 1,000 repetitions, some days just 100, but I made sure to spend that hour calling out to Allah, seeking His forgiveness and trusting His promise. And you know what? The more I did it, the more doors opened. Provision started flowing, life began to change. After a full year of consistent istighfar, 1 to 2 hours daily, we were able to sell our small apartment and buy a larger one in a much better area. We also won the court case we had filed against the man responsible for my husband's accident. The court ruled in our favor and awarded compensation. With that money and a little more from our earnings, we bought a car. Today I look back and say, Alhamdulillah. I'm sharing my story because my life has truly turned around 180 degrees. There were days we didn't have breakfast. Now we have a spacious apartment, a car, and peace of mind. This is the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the incredible power of istighfar. The story ends there. Your life will transform beyond your wildest dreams too, I promise you. Just remember to take action and think the best thoughts of Allah. Believe that Allah will bless you and get rid of all the doubts that are holding you back. Put your full faith and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and watch how your life changes in the most beautiful way, inshallah. May Allah bless you with all your heart's desires. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. That's a wrap for today's video. Remember, guiding others to goodness earns the same reward as doing good yourself. So don't forget to share the video with those you care about most. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.